2023 has seen a significant increase in the number of lightweight mid-powered e-bikes coming to market. But is a lightweight mid-powered e-bike right for you? Stay tuned to find out. So the mid-powered e-bike first came to existence in 2021, 2022, no, sort of latter 2022, with the rise of things like the Levo SL, Evo, and to be fair, the full Specialized SL range. And then we saw the Orbea Rise.
Nice bike.
As well come through. And the Rise is probably the first real mid-powered bike, whereas the SL's kind of verged on the lower power end because they were only 35 Newton meters, but the Rise really hit the sweet spot. From then, we've seen quite a lot of EMTBs fitted with these mid-powered motors. And as also just many different options coming out. So we've seen a TQ motor, which has got 50 Newton meters. We've seen the new Fazua motor, which has come out, and that's 60 Newton meters. Bosch, they've just launched a new SX motor as well, coming in at 60 Newton meters. So there's clearly a big fashion and trend and demand for these bikes, and as a result, lots of bike manufacturers are producing them to fit this new demand.
I demand it. I demand it!
Have you guys liked and subscribed yet? Come on, we need 1,000 of you. Clicky, clicky. So why would you choose a mid-powered bike, and what are the benefits? Well, the main benefit to start with is weight. E-bikes have always been heavy. They are getting ever so slightly lighter as battery technology and motor technology progresses, but they are inherently heavy, and a lot of that is due to the motor weight and also the battery weight. So the mid-powered e-bikes came in with slightly smaller batteries and slightly smaller motors. So you get the same sort of range in terms of distance traveled as the full power bikes, but the power output from the motor is lower. And this was designed for two definitive camps. So you've got those that don't need as much assistance, so they want to cover distance but with only a small amount of assistance. And then there's also those that want a lightweight and nimble bike, because they're used to throwing their bikes around. They want something that can do tricks and jumps and switchbacks and whatever it might be, which aren't so easy to achieve on a full powered bike. So they kind of fit into two camps, and some people actually, a lot of people overlap. You want a lightweight bike because you can do all of these things. There's always been this thought process behind e-bikes that they're cheating.
Cheat, 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 cheat.
For a lot of people, having a mid-powered e-bike makes them feel that they're not cheating as much as their friend who's got a full-powered bike. So there is a psychological element that allows people into an e-bike because they've got a mid-powered e-bike as opposed to a full-fat e-bike, let's say. So if you've never seen a mid-powered e-bike before, please take a look on our website. There's plenty of options out there. There's things like the Orbea Rise, there's the High Bike Like, there's the TQ motor, which is fitted to the Trek Fuel EXE. All of these have got very long-winded names that are difficult to get off the tongue, but there we go. But there's plenty out there, so please take a look if you want to have it there. If you want to have a look. So before we go on to which is the right system for you, be it a full fat or a mid-range or mid-powered system, we need to define what is a full fat bike, for instance. So we would always define that as something with an excess of 60 Newton meters of torque. So in that category, we're looking at things like the Bosch CX, Performance Line CX, we're looking at the Yamaha PWX3, the Bros Mag S motors, things like that are producing, generally, you're looking 60 Newton meters plus, and often you're looking 85 to 90 Newton meters of torque. It can be fitted to all sorts of bikes, but in general, we tend to see them on the more burly mountain bikes, and more expensive mountain bikes. And then also we would expect to see these fitted with bigger batteries. So we're looking at 500 watt hour, 625 or 700 plus watt hour battery bikes. Examples of bikes within this range, certainly in the full sus department, would be things like the Trek Rail, the Orbea Wild, Specialized Levo, just to name a few. But you've got bikes from High Bike, you've got bikes from Cube, Rally, all sorts with these sort of bigger full fat motors. And also, which I haven't covered, is weight. Nearly all of these, in fact pretty much all of them, will be in excess of 20 kilos. And that's with the battery and also without the battery. They're much heavier systems because the bikes themselves have to carry this extra motor power, this extra weight from the battery, so often the frames themselves are bigger, the bikes are bigger and burlier, as I've said before. So yeah, overall you're looking at bikes in the mid 20 kilo range with batteries. Some go well above that, and some do just touch near the 20 kilo mark. Something like the Orbea Wild kind of sits in that category. But overall you're looking at roughly 25 kilos. Have you guys liked and subscribed yet? Come on, clicky clicky. So the big question is, which motor system is right for you? To answer this question, I'm going to touch on a few different things. To start with, we've got to ask some questions to you, but also I'm going to go through some insight from my own experience of the different styles of bikes as well, which hopefully will add some value in helping you decide which system's right. What are you looking to achieve with this bike? So are you looking for a bike that is go anywhere, thrash it, go as fast as you can, climb up the mountains and hills as fast as you can? Are you really that bothered by the fitness and workout element to it, or are you just looking for out and out thrills?
I need excitement to feel excited.
If that's you, then you're definitely in the full fat camp. Then you can also say, are you concerned about the power delivery? Are you concerned about your own fatigue and fitness levels? Are you coming back from injury? Do you feel that you're quite unfit and you need lots of assistance to start with? Then we would say, yes, go down the full powered route first, because you can always go up with the power to start with, and as your fitness or your health improves, you will find yourself coming down the motor levels. It will increase the range, it will increase the workout for you, but it gives you that backup of all the power if you really need it. Do you need a bike that you can throw around? Are you a regular mountain biker? Are you somebody who has grown up with bikes and is very competent, let's say, on a bike? Do you really need a bike to handle as well as possible? Or are you someone that's going to go out on the trails and just plow along and cover distance, or just spend the weekend with friends? Then you don't necessarily need a really agile bike. You need a bike it's reliable, it's tough, it's got power when you need it. As a result, I'd say you're probably more in that full fat camp again. And as I go through this, as I say this, it feels to me that most people will fit in the full fat camp, because you can always dial the motor down. You can't add power to it. So if you go for a mid-powered bike, you're going to have 60 Newton meters. That's it. You can't go any higher. If you need more assistance, you just don't have it there at your disposal. So I'd say for most people, the only real criteria for why you would want a mid-powered bike is weight saving for your average rider. And that's really what a mid-powered bike will give you. Now, if you go into the other camp, so let's say now we're looking at those that would fit definitely into the mid-powered bike route, we're talking about those that have been riding for years. Maybe age is catching up with them, maybe circumstance, lifestyle is catching up with them, where they can't cover the distance or achieve the things they used to within the same time limit. So for me, for instance, I've got a young family. I don't have as much time to get out of the weekends as I would like to. So if I want to have a blast and cover a significant distance within a short period of time or a restricted window of time, a mid-power e-bike gives me that opportunity to cover more distance versus my old analog bike. Then you've got others out there who they're used to going to bike parks and throwing their bikes around, hitting big jumps, big drop-offs, and they want something that is much more agile than those that are on a full fat bike. So they are definitely going to fit into that camp too. And as we've already touched on, those that really need something lightweight, it might be that you don't have a bike rack that can take a particular significant amount of weight, or you just physically can't lift a heavier e-bike. You don't want to go through the rigmarole of taking your battery out to save a bit of weight each time. You probably are better off to go for that lightweight bike in the first place.
I guess I'm a lightweight.
Another thing that might be an influence on you to start with, or you think might be an influence for you, is price. Most people will think that the bigger motor, the bigger the power, the more expensive the bike.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
That's not actually the case. Most mid-powered bikes tend to come in a little bit pricier than their full-powered counterparts. I think a big part of that is just availability of these bikes. There's been full-powered bikes out for ages, so the cost of production of these bikes is lower. That's my personal thought. I might be wrong, or it might well be supply and demand. There's lots of supply of these bikes, so the price is lower. These mid-power bikes, they're new, they're new shiny objects, so as a result they've got shiny object pricing. So yeah, don't think you're getting a smaller motor and a smaller battery and a smaller price tag. It's actually not that way at all. You're more likely to spend more on a mid-powered bike than you are on a full fat. So this is I'd say possibly the key point in deciding which bike is right for you. You need to work out who you ride with most of the time and what bikes they have. If they're all on full fat bikes, realistically, you're probably best off buying a full fat bike yourself. If you're all switching from analog, then you might well be best off switching from analog into the mid-drive criteria first, and then maybe 10 years down the line when your legs are not quite as up to the the rigor, I can't get to say the right word, aren't up to what they are now, then yeah, maybe you then need to look at a full fat bike. So definitely working out who you're going to ride with is probably a key indicator. And if you ride in a group and you're all on analogues at the moment, it might be worth saying to each other, before you buy an e-bike, can we all have a little discussion as to where we go next? Because if someone jumps into a full fat bike, then you're kind of all going to have to go down the full fat bike route. So the key points from this is, what do you want to achieve? If you're looking mainly for fitness, go mid-power. If you're looking more for backup, go full power. And then have a look at weight. If you need a lightweight bike, then you're really going to have to go down the mid-power route. And then finally, who do you ride with? If the guys that you ride with are already on full power, then you need to go full power. If they're analog or on mid-power, then you go with mid-power. And I think, hopefully, that might help you with your decision. And yeah, price-wise, afraid, no benefit to go for either of the systems, frankly. They're all not cheap. Probably the best way to describe it. So guys, what bikes do you ride at the moment? Have you already decided? Have you got a full-powered bike?
Yeah.
A full-powered bike?
Full power.
So have you got a full power bike, or have you got mid-drive or analog? Have you had these discussions? Do you have any issues where one guy's on a full power bike and the rest of you are on mid-drives or you're on analogs? We're open. It'd be great to have a discussion. Please leave your comments below. Always happy to get some comments. We'd love to chat with you and get a bit of a community going with this sort of feedback. Thank you very much, guys, for getting this far. We really appreciate you spending that time to watch our videos. Please like and subscribe. We're desperate to try and get to 1,000 subs. So please, like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if we don't see you in store, we will see you in the next video. Cheers.